Hi, hello everybody. How are we doing? Wonderful, I'm excellent. I'm going to be talking about filmmaking as a moral responsibility using the Nigerian film industry, also popularly known as Nollywood. So when I was in the university getting my bachelor's, my friend was the head of the student, he was the student president, and he decided to conduct this small experiment in school where he started a tiny rumor, and he wanted to prove to people just how much capable of exaggeration Nigerians can be. So he told a few people that a girl was caught kissing a security guard in front of her dormitory. That was it. But by the end of the day, people had assigned a name to the girl, they had assigned a name to the security guard, they had assigned a dormitory. They said this particular student was caught with this particular security guard in front of this particular dormitory, and the act had gone several levels above kissing. In fact, some people, when the news got to me, I was told like, oh, they had already reported these people to the advisory body, and someone was going to get suspended very quickly. So, it was at the end when everyone found out, oh, okay, his name is F. Young. Like, F. Young did this as a prank. And it's incredible how much refurbishment people have added because it was primarily something that was transferred through word of mouth. So I think this perfectly encapsulates what Nollywood is about. It's a small community with an extremely large reach, full of overdramatic people with a penchant for utilizing oral forms of storytelling. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about Nollywood. It's the third biggest film industry in the world. And actually, what many people don't know is Nollywood, the term was actually coined by a white person, a foreigner, who was an assignment for the New York Times, and just added, because in Nigeria, I was like, screw Bollywood and Hollywood. Why don't we just get Nollywood? And it became huge. It's very popular for its very comical, over-dramatic, intense storylines, and very small production budget. Nollywood movies cost $5,000, $10,000 to make, and the business is in how efficiently they can, how many of these movies they can make and distribute as quickly as possible. So the money comes from distribution, not necessarily paying too much attention on storytelling. But I want to dissuade that because you hear so many people now saying, oh, we should change the conversation, we need to tell our stories. We are already telling our stories. And one of the strongest aspects of storytelling in Nollywood is very reliant on a strong moral core. Like the Croatian filmmaker yesterday was talking about, stories, the forms vary, but the essential ingredients are the same. You have a protagonist and an antagonist, and someone has to go through some transformation. With Nollywood, it's usually good versus evil. It's a very common theme that you see in a lot of the films, and they do it in very exaggerated and obvious ways. For instance, okay, I'm going to show you this classic Yoruba Nollywood movie that's spoken in a traditional language called Yoruba. It's a movie called Shaworede, essentially about, it's classic because it has everything. It's important, it's entertaining. It talks about this small village where before a king is crowned, they had this ancient tradition that was started by a previous king where on the coronation day, someone comes with a drum and plays a tune and chants something. And as the king wears the crown, if he's good on the inside, he's fine. But if he's a king who has bad intentions and doesn't want to rule the people properly, he develops a magical headache and dies. And this is very effective because the rulers in the community are selling the natural resources to multinationals who are not treating the members of the community properly. So it's, and then there's a love story and there's an adventure. The drum gets missing, the tyrant succeeds for a while. Good always, it's very important to know that in a lot of Nollywood films, good always wins. That's the point. It's always to kind of encourage people to believe that God is a magical fix, or it's some level of higher spirituality is a magical fix, and that things will always get better. And it helps because Nigeria is economically almost always in crisis. So people need not just an escape for funny stories, but people need to believe that, if need to find ways to go through their daily realities by believing that eventually some magical cure is going to come and everything is going to be fixed. So I'm going to show you a clip from the movie, and I'll see if you guys like it. Okay, so this man is is like a pope. He's a spiritual leader. He's supposed to be the way that before politicians conduct elections, they need to get approval from some religious leader. This is the role he's playing. All of the chiefs and all of the people who vote for the leader come to see him because he's supposed to he's supposed to be on the side of truth and peace and justice and goodness, not necessarily, following anyone else's agenda, while his visitor is, a bad guy.
Koremi, Emon Semini.
Ṣé ẹ gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ tá a sọ ńjọ́ sí?
Ṣé nípa ti oyè?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Àti bí mo wí fún yín, àní ẹni tó bá fẹ́ jayé kó má jẹ oníjogbo. Oníjogbo ní sìnlú, ìlú yìí sin oníjogbo. Oníjogbo kan ò sì lè lówó bí ọba tòde òní.
Kí ló dé? Wọ́n fi ṣe wọ́n ni.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ jólóyè jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Àwọn àṣírí kan bẹ tẹ́yin ò lè rí. Ọlá iṣẹ́ tiwa àti ọjọ́ orí wa ìwọ náà rí. Àti sísúnmọ́ àgbà táwa náà súnmọ́ àwọn àgbà náà ni làwa fi mọ̀. Omi tá a fi dájú gbónú.
A ní láti padà. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi lẹni tó fẹ́ joyè yìí, mo sì fẹ́ kó rówó tún ra ṣe.
Ẹ sọ fún kó má sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ o. Kó má sì ṣe búra kankan o.
Kí ló dé?
Kò lè yé ọ. Àmọ́ ẹ sọ fún kò lè yé wọn. Kò yé wọn, kò yé wọn, yóò yé wọn lọ́la.
Okay, so you understand the point, and it can come off as very preachy sometimes, but it all fits in the theme of over the top, extra dramatic, and they also employ very Nigerians love their culture. So in a lot of Nollywood films, you see strong traditional celebrations like parties and burials and dancing and feasting and very colorful language, sometimes that can almost be poetic. The same way that you see a Bollywood film and the music is just beautiful. Like when you hear the incantations, it's incredible. So this is the tradition when they're making the drum and the crown that will.
Bàbá ní kí arọ adé idẹ kan, ṣàwòrò etí ìlú àti àdó idẹ kan, ká fi ọ̀mọ̀gbẹ́ igi ìlú dùndún kan ká fi ṣe ìlú.
Kí ni Ifá ní ká ṣe sí o?
Òtúrá méjì. Aṣọ funfun ní sunkún aró ìpìlẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ní sunkún èkejì tán. Adé á fún Adérọ̀ mókùn ọmọ Ọ̀ọ̀ni àlànà kan èsùrú ńjọ́ tí mẹ́kún ṣe ráhùn ire gbogbo. Bọ́kàn bá yọnú gbó abọ́ náà wá. Ire gbogbo mọ̀mọ́ wá jogbo wá o. Ire gbogbo bá a bá dami orí abẹ́sẹ̀ wá. Ire gbogbo mọ̀mọ́ wá jogbo wá o. Ire. A wá kó ewé Ifá ìjọ. A wá ṣe bó ti yẹ sínú òrù. A wá mú awẹ́ àgbáàrín kan. A fi sínú ihò tí ń bẹ lórí adé idẹ. A mú awẹ́ àgbáàrín kejì. A jù sínú igi ìlú ṣàwòrò idẹ. Ẹ rí gbogbo ewé Ifá tó kù yìí. A wá jó léjìjó. A wá rọ́ sínú àdó idẹ. Èjìjó yìí la fi sín gbẹ́rẹ́ fún Àyàngalú. Èjìjó náà la wá máa fi sín gbẹ́rẹ́ fún gbogbo àwọn oníjogbo tí bá ń jẹ. A wá mú òrù tá a lò. A wá fọ́ mọ́lẹ̀.
Okay, so that's old Nollywood. But recently, in the past decade, we have this new interesting crop of young filmmakers who have been able to travel and have received education from different parts of the world, who are very dissatisfied, not with the stories, but with the quality of the storytelling. So they have taken some of these, many of them will tell you they want to redefine African cinema. I don't think they can do that overnight. And what a lot of them haven't realized is that they have been subconsciously taking they have subconsciously taken on some of these themes of morality and put it in some of their movies, even if it doesn't always have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's quite comical, actually. So I will show you a series, a web series about, it's called Skinny Girl in Transit, and it's about a fat girl who is just basically her life, her love life, and her life with her family. So I mentioned that these morality figures sometimes can be very preachy in their approach. So a classic character is the Nigerian mother, who is very dramatic in the way and very judgmental of her children's actions, particularly if she has a daughter. And she's usually very obsessed with marriage because marriage is something society validates. And also because it is kind of a religious process. If you get married, you have to go to church or you have to go to the mosque before you have your reception. So here she's been dreaming about her ex, who was very attractive, and then her mother wakes her up.
What is wrong with you? Sit up, my friend. Kolako. Alalani.
What is it? It's 5:30 in the morning.
Ah. Is it because you are dreaming of Kola? Abibeko? About me, so nonsense here. I want to talk to you.
What is it that you want to talk about that could not wait for the sun to come up?
Whoa. I was praying this morning. And the Holy Spirit ministered to me that I should tell you, you are not helping yourself.
Which Holy Spirit?
Ẹ̀mí mímọ́ now. Ẹ̀mí mímọ́ said I should tell you that you should start losing weight.
That's what Emimo told you.
Mo ti ń parọ́ àbí? I'm lying, Abi.
Never. You can never lie.
God told her to lose weight. Can you
What
imagine?
else did Emimo say?
Ẹ̀mí mímọ́ said I should talk to you. You start losing weight. Bóyá from there you will find a husband.
This is the spirit talking and not you.
Yes, so the spirit is talking to you and me. Ṣogbo. Tí ẹ̀gbọ́n náà ti wá ládé. Àárọ̀ kùtùkùtù lèèyàn ń bọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀. Look at me, ojú lọ̀rọ̀ wà. Gbọ́nà, when last did you bring a boyfriend? Má jẹ́ kí n gba etí ẹ̀ láàárọ̀ yìí. Má dá mi lóhùn. When last did you tell me that you are going on a date? Tiwalade nítorí Ọlọ́run ò dẹ̀ wò mí nítorí Ọlọ́run. Tiwalade, mo fẹ́ ṣe wedding o. Mo fẹ́ jíjó ayọ̀. Kí ló dé? Kí ló dé Tiwalade? Let me be able to look at Amoye in the face and tell her shame to bad people when I hand over your wedding card to her. I want to dance, mo fẹ́ jó, mo fẹ́ yọ̀ when you are walking down the aisle. Ìwọ ọmọ yìí kí ló dé, kí ni mo ṣe fún ẹ? Ó dẹ̀ jí.
So that's what all this is about.
Ẹjọ́ ẹ̀kọ́. What will it be about, tẹ́lẹ̀? Mo béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ. Jẹ́ kí n sọ fún ẹ. Mo ti sọ tèmi o. Èmi fẹ́ jójó ayọ̀. Tèmi nìkan kọ́ ló máa yàtọ̀. Ṣé o ti gbọ́? Bí mo ṣe ń bẹ ẹ sọ yìí, ó ń dùn mí lọ́kàn gidigidi.
So you can see how, like, she uses God to justify her. She just wants a big wedding, and she turns it into this. This is what God has required of you. You have to lose weight and bring a boyfriend and get married so I can show off to my friends and all of that. So it's funny. And then sometimes this could come in the form of an anti-hero, not in this less obvious, you have to believe in God, you know, God sees and does everything and controls all of my actions with. Sometimes it's more nuanced, it comes in more subtle forms. So this is, I'm not going to show you the short film. It's a trailer for a short film made by someone very interested in taking contemporary African stories and making them as accessible to the rest of the world as it is already to Nigerians, because these are already the lives that we're living day in, day out. So this is based on a short story written during the Biafran War about someone who was fighting for the side of the opposition and kind of betrayed them by going back to the other side.
Emmanuel Ibajuna, how the mighty have fallen. You should have been dead by now. At least your treacherous body would have been manure for the motherland.
Biko, listen to the words of a corpse. You cannot win this war.
Yeah, so that's that. And finally, you have the extremely experimental variant of it, which is the least obvious form. But you can tell that all of these videos draw very strongly from tradition because Nigerians, West Africans, are very attached to their traditions because it's something that society reminds you of every day. And I guess this form of storytelling this is what we know. So despite how much exposure or education we have, like we're still very much attached to those strong traditional values of good and bad and evil and strength and weakness. So this I found particularly very interesting because it's in another language, different from the one I was playing for you guys. And it's just more of a series of lessons her father. We had this thing where parents used to read, the way that parents would read storybooks out to their kids in other countries. Our parents used to tell us stories just based on the mouth. There were popular stories of the tortoise and the spider, and the turtle was like the cunning trickster, and the dog was the loyal one, but they never read them from storybooks. So they always had different flavors. Like the baselines were similar, but each parent added some kind of flavor. So this is an experimental short recounting the folk stories her father used to tell her. It's in Igbo. But it's also about life and death and good and bad.
Nna m ochie gwara m tupu anyị enwe ndị eze eweburu otu ụdịrị agụ eji mkpụrụ aka ịrọ ya kpachie ya ike ruo mgbe mkpụrụ obi ya ghọrọ akwara. Mmadụ niile mara na ndị kwere ekwe ọ bụ ndị ọzọ na-ekwe ha, mana e nwere ihe ndị ọzọ ụdịrị agụ mara. Nke mbụ, alụlụ ụdịrị agụ o nwere ike ịdọkasị. Nke abụọ, ị nweghị ike ịkwụsị onye chọrọ ịla ka ọ ghara ịla. Nke atọ, were nwayọọ. E nwere ọtụtụ ụzọ ị ga-esi laa. Nke anọ, ụfọdụ ị gaghị alaghachite ọzọ. Ihe a ha kọrọ bụkwa ihe nna m ochie kọrọ m. Otu a ka esi akọ akụkọ a.
So to just wrap up, these movies are very strong on proverbs, idioms, I guess, and for the Westerners. So proverbs are very strong. And the industry equally carries and propagates the best and worst of these attitudes, often using strong imagery, traditionalism, phobias, ethnic discord, and very strong character references, sometimes that can be stereotypical, which is why this newer age of people are trying to make them less obvious. You have the wife versus the mother-in-law who is annoyed that this woman has come and they're fighting for the son's attention. You have the bad girl who in Nollywood movies is usually seen wearing a pair of shorts and smoking a cigarette or wearing sunglasses when it's not bright outside. And then the good person is usually very subversive, the old calm man, the dutiful wife, the praying mother, and God is the ultimate savior who works things out. So resolutions can be achieved almost magically. And there's no time to show you this, but they have a very strong scene that you see in Nollywood movies is this prayer session where they are casting and binding the demons out and the person is shaking and they're just like, oh my God, I'm saved, I'm going to. So this, it's a way to keep people good because they love these movies, so they're going to believe some of these lessons. But at the same time, we should be asking questions like, these things worked for our parents, but are they working for us? Because we're more exposed, we have access to more information. So how can we take these lessons and distill them in such a way that is creative and accessible at the same time? So I think they've started taking steps, but we still have a long way to go. And the rest of the world should keep an eye on Nollywood because fabulous things are coming out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fareeda. So, do you have comments and questions? Okay. No? Thank you very much. Please join me in a... Yes, please, we have? Yes, I'm coming.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I will have just like a couple of short questions because I'm not very familiar with Nollywood. One of them will be like, which is the language which they are mainly using for the films?
Sorry?
Which is the language which they are mainly using for the films in terms of how it can be spread to the neighboring countries and perhaps to the whole of Africa?
Primarily English, actually, but I purposely didn't show too many English-speaking films because a lot of the films with better quality often are the ones in the traditional languages, but the English-speaking ones are the most entertaining, hands down, and they are the most popular.
And regarding the different ethnies and so on, is it like mainly Yoruba thing, or there are all different types of?
There is, within Nollywood, there's the Yoruba, the Hausa, and the Igbo industries, but the Yoruba is the most prominent after the English-speaking one.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps just the last question, if I can remember.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Are there any, like out of this dialectic, like good and bad, do you also find some side stories which perhaps are reflecting other problematic? Like, for instance, one I'm familiar with the Niger Delta and the Ogoni people, or any other.
The first Yoruba film I showed you, the issues mirror the Niger Delta issue very closely because there are a couple of people, oil-rich lands, and you have all of these multinationals just drilling and they don't compensate the people enough. It's because the film is really long, but that's exactly what happens in the Jobo village. They have resources and then the multinational people with the money come and put someone they like in power so he can give them all the contracts and the people suffer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Fareeda, please join me in a sincere gratitude to our colleagues, Fareeda.